just got through watching a video, and in the video was a dialogue between three young individuals, and I think the video was presented by an entity known as a single eye movement. And in it, the individuals were talking about a form of education that allows the creative force within the individual to evolve naturally within the individual without forcing it to without being directed by public education, the way we normally, the most of us, have been educated by a curriculum that forces us to all be one person. The teacher tells us this is the way it is, we learn it, and we're graded on it. Apparently this school that they were talking about, the Waldorf school, created by a guy by the name of Steiner, allows the individual to evolve according to its inward desire. They give it a curriculum, and that they allow it to approach it from their own point of view. They look for creativity instead of rote learning. And when you listen to them talk, they praise this type of thinking. They were thinking that the way public schools, public education forces the individual to conform and restricts him to the or her to the methods they use for grading isn't fair, because it stifles the individual's ability to be what they want to be, what they are. Instead, it forces them to measure up to a certain standard that is required by the public education. And I was thinking about the school. I said, I know they had to have some discipline in that school, because you have to learn how to be a part of what it is we are a part of. That doesn't come naturally. Internally, as animals, we believe in getting what is ours, or everything is ours, until we learn that there has to be some kind of social manners that allows us to interact with each other without too much friction. And they used a line one time. They said the creative force. And in Scripture, there's first let me say that the Bible, in my opinion, is a chauvinistic approach to philosophy, in so much as that it always refers to the Father and the Son. Primarily, this is the relationship. The Father gives birth to the Son. That's creation. God gives birth to existence. God manifests itself in existence. But, as I said, the Bible was written primarily with the masculine part of our species is predominant. But there's a line in the Scripture goes, "For as the Father has life in himself, so too has he given to the Son to have life in himself." And what this means, in my opinion, is that the Father gives the Son, or the child, independence, to be totally independent of the Father. And that's what supposedly this school is doing, is allowing the individual to become totally independent, to become the individual that it is. And yet, it's supposed to be able to function within the whole of which it is a part. And some of these individuals were lamenting the fact that they hadn't been given the opportunity of this school, but they had been subject to the public school system, and they saw the negative aspects of how they were raised, and they were lamenting it. And I don't know what their conclusion is, but they seem to be saying they weren't given the best opportunity to become the best person they are, or they can be, as the Army says, be the best person you can be. And I read some of the responses of individuals that are also lamenting the fact that they weren't given a fair shot, like these children that are privileged to go to this school. And my question is there not an opportunity or a way for individuals that were not privileged or allowed to become raised under this type of concept? Is there hope for us that were not raised under that concept? And what comes to mind is the Buddha says that all of existence can be understood in the moment. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to start under a certain type of idea, but if you wish to understand, it can be understood. You don't need to be raised in a perfect environment in order to be perfect. You were and are perfect, and you were encased in the understandings and the teachings of those that presented them to you. And it is your perfection that will allow you to see things clearly, to see through these things that you were presented with us, and they impeded you and inhibited you, and you will, through your own persistence and your belief in your own independence, for as the Father has life in himself, so too is he given to the Son to have life in himself. As long as you realize that, then you will succeed. You will see things as they really are, and not as you were presented. One of the comments of one of the individuals had said that I was lucky. I was one of the 4 that were allowed to go to the computer, use the computer, because that's how the testing went. The top 4 individuals were allowed to go play with the computers. And he said, well, that wasn't fair. And I thought, well, this school that they were speaking about has a high tuition. And so it's the same concept. Only the privileged, the monetarily privileged person can go to this school. So it's the same concept. The idea has to become free in order for it to be real and true.